Hello students. So today in this video I am going to discuss extra question answers of some chapters in Snapshot. As in Hornbill we have discussed extra question answers, main features of the chapters, theme, plot and main points, and extract based questions, and some questions also have been given you for practice. So now in this video we are going to discuss some extra questions and their answers, solved question answers which you must write in your notebook, and then some questions will be given for practice during your summer vacation. So you must note down all the questions and must practice them during your summer vacations. So as in my last class I discussed NCERT exercises and extra question answers of the chapter Ranga's Marriage. So in this chapter I am going to start from the first chapter, as in the beginning we did not discuss extra question answers of first and second chapter. Okay, so now in today's video I am going to discuss them. You must write down all the questions and their answers. Okay, if they are solved, so write them with answers. If unsolved, then write down their answers on your own. Okay, so it would be a summer vacation, summer holiday homework. Okay, so you should consider it as your holiday homework. So let us begin. Snapshot Supplementary Reader, Chapter 1, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse by William Saroyan. Okay, so let us go through some main points of this chapter. This is a story of two tribal Armenian boys who belong to the Garoglanian tribe. Their tribe lives in extreme poverty, yet nothing could match their honesty. They never did anything wrong and never lied or never even stole anything. The story talks about an incident that revolves around two cousins, Aram, who is 9 years old, and Murad, who is 13. Murad was considered to be crazy by everybody he knew. He was considered the natural descendant of his uncle Khusrov, an enormous man with a roaring voice. The story opens with Murad coming to Aram's house at 4 in the morning. He tapped on the window to Aram's room. When Aram looked out of the window, he was taken aback and startled to see Murad riding a beautiful white horse. This was too unbelievable because Aram knew that they were too poor to be taken to afford to buy a dog. This was too unbelievable because Aram knew that they were too poor to be able to afford to buy a horse. The only way Murad could possess it could be by stealing. They were too honest to lie and yet too crazy to ride a horse. Thus, they decided to keep the horse for 2 weeks and enjoy its ride in cool air. They justified their action by saying that stealing a horse for money was not the same as stealing it for riding. They hid it from the rest of the world by keeping it in a barn of the deserted vineyard. One day, while returning from horse riding, they came across John Byrow, a farmer who was the owner of that horse. John Byrow was sure that it was his horse, yet he did not suspect the boys. He even counted the horse's teeth and was just amazed at the resemblance and said, "I would swear it is my horse if I did not know your parents." This moving experience led the boys towards John's vineyard. The very next morning, they left the horse in the barn after patting it affectionately. Later that day, John seemed to be very pleased and shared the news of the return of his horse with Aram's mother. The story teaches us the importance of necessity of honesty even in the face of greed and passion. Murad has been described in the story as a kind-hearted animal lover. He has a way with animals. He loves the horse and shows his affection by whispering to it. He is able to tame the horse quite easily and rides it well. At another point, he is shown trying to mend the broken wings of a bird and talking softly to it. Now, let us go through some short answer type questions, a few solved questions, then some questions for your practice. So during summer vacations, you must practice all the extra question answer in your fair notebook. Okay, and those who haven't completed their work, so complete it during their summer vacation. So now let us go through these questions. Question number 1. Why was Aram surprised when he saw Murad in the morning? So answer. Aram was surprised to see Murad because he had come so early in the morning, that too with a beautiful white horse. He could not believe that a boy of his tribe could buy or steal a horse. Second question. Who was Uncle Khosrow? Why was he considered the craziest member of his tribe? So Uncle Khosrow was a relative of Aram, who was an enormous man. He was short-tempered and impatient by nature. He standard His standard response to all the problems was, it is no harm, pay no attention to it. It was his patent line. Question number 3. Why was John Biro sad? So John Biro sad because his horse was stolen and now he had to go on foot for long distance, as his surrey was useless without a horse. Surrey means, during explanation I have also told you, a cart, okay, so which can be operated with a horse. Fourth one, why did Murad return the horse? Murad returned to Murad belonged to a tribe which was known for its honesty. He could not tolerate John Biro's expressions. When he seemed to have recognized the horse, it was no more charming and challenging task for him to keep the horse after this incident. Question number 5. Why did John Biro not accused Murad for stealing the horse, though he recognized his horse? So though John Biro could recognize his horse, he did not blame Murad of stealing because he knew his parent well. He knew that Murad's family and tribe was famous for honesty. Now some questions for practice. Okay, so you should take a screenshot, or you can pause the video and write down these solved and then these unsolved questions for practice. So question number 1 for practice is, why Murad came so early in the morning? Second, Aram could not believe his eyes when he looked out for the window. Comment. How did Aram and Murad feel during the ride on the beautiful white horse? How did the boys justify their act of stealing? Number 5th, which place was used by the boys for hiding the horse? Why? Number 6, who was John Biro? What was his reaction on seeing the two boys with the white horse? 7, why did the narrator and his cousin return the horse? How did Aram conclude that Murad had stolen the horse? 9th one, what considerations did the boys have in making a choice of place to hide the stolen horse? 10, What happened during the narrator's solo ride? 11th. Were the boys able to prove the hallmarks of their tribe? Why? Why not? So the hallmarks of their tribe was that they were honest, even they were poverty stricken, even if they were honest. Okay. So were the boys able to prove this? If yes, then why? If not, then why not? Now let us discuss long answer type questions. Fear, or these questions are also value based questions, so all these questions are very important, so you must practice them. Fear or and conscience, what worked behind the boy's decision of returning the stolen horse? So fear or conscience, what worked behind the boy's decision of returning the stolen horse? Second, Murad was considered the natural descendant of Uncle Khusro. So what traits had he inherited from his uncle? Third one, describe the deal of the first ride Aram and Murad enjoyed together on the summer morning. Question number 5. Do you think the boys were right in returning the horse? Give reasons. 6th. What do people have to tell lies sometimes? Why do people have to tell lies sometimes? Do you think telling lies sometimes can be justified? Why? Why not? So take a screenshot or pause the video, write down all the questions in your notebook and must practice their answers. So you have to write all the solved and unsolved, both type of questions. So now let us practice. Let us go through main points and extra question answers and extra questions for practice of chapter 2, the address by Marga Minko. Main points. Marga Minko is the narrator. She was a girl of 15 or 17. It is a misprinting. Her family was Jewish and Hitler was planning to kill all the Jews in Germany, Holland, Austria, etc. So Hitler was planning to kill all the Jews in Germany, Holland and Austria. The war led to exodus of Jewish families towards safer places. They were forced to abandon their homes and belongings. This short story is a touching account of a daughter who goes in searching, it is misprinting, in searching of her mother's belongings after the war in Holland. When she finds them, the objects evoke memories of her old life. However, she decides to leave them all behind and resolves to move on. A lady named Darling comes to Mrs. S. house to give pre-war information to Mrs. S. The narrator happens to meet Mrs. Darling on one of her visits to her house and remembers her taking away a suitcase full of their belongings. Mrs. S. tells her daughter that Mrs. Darling has good intentions of keeping their belongings safe during the wartime. She has offered to help the narrator's family by carrying their households, utensils, furniture, and all other valuables. When the war was over and the Japs were feeling safe in these countries, Marga, the narrator, returned to her house, which was no more, and lived in a small hut. She has lost her mother and misses her already. Oh, misses her, dearly. Sorry, misses her dearly. One day, Marga thinks of the woman, Mrs. Darling, who had taken all her possessions. She recalls her address, 46 Marconi Street, and goes to the address by train. Mrs. Darling opens the door and is surprised to see the narrator. When the narrator introduces herself, she refuses to recognize her. Perhaps Mrs. Darling was not expecting that she would ever return after war. On the other hand, the narrator recognizes the woolen cardigan which Mrs. Darling was wearing, as it belonged to her mother. Marga was terribly pinched, hurt, disappointed, and betrayed by the behavior of Mrs. Darling. Anyhow, the first visit ends on a sad note. She grew impatient after a while and decided to visit Mrs. Darling once again. When she rang the bell at house number 46, Mrs. Darling's daughter meets the narrator and offers her a cup of tea. Marga goes inside. She recognizes many articles that once belonged to her mother but were now being used in a distasteful manner by the Darling family. Marga is hurt and disgusted at the shrewdness of, it is not shrewdness, sorry, it should be rudeness. Okay students, the correct this one. Rudeness of Mrs. Darling. She loses the desire of taking back her mother's belongings as they evoke sad memories of the war and painful loss of the mother in her heart. She resolves to forget the address and move on in life. Now, let us go through short answer type questions, 30 to 40 words. Question number 1. Why did the narrator go to Mrs. Dorling's house? So the narrator went to Mrs. Dorling's house to collect her valuable belongings which her mother had given to her during wartime. She wanted to renew her past memories. Question number 2. Why was the narrator confident that she had reached the correct address? So the narrator remembered the house number 46. She recognized her sweater with its buttons on seeing her cardigan with Mrs. Dorling. She was confident that she had reached the correct address. Question number 3. How did Mrs. Dorling's daughter treat the narrator? So unlike Mrs. Dorling, the daughter invited the narrator inside her house. She offered her a cup of tea. Question number 4. Why did the narrator decide not to collect her belongings? The narrator was disappointed after recognizing her belongings in a stained and dirty environment. She didn't feel comfortable on seeing all those valuable articles in Mrs. Dorling's house. Question number 5. Why did narrator's mother ask her to remember the address by heart? So the narrator's mother asked her to remember the address by heart because she gave a number of household valuable articles to Mrs. Dorling during the war time. She thought that her daughter would collect all that after the war was over. Now some questions for your practice. Question number 1. Why was Mrs. Dorling surprised to recognize the author? 2. What helped the author to recognize Mrs. Dorling during her first visit? 3. Why did the author feel upset on her first visit to Mrs. Dorling's house? 4. How did the author feel towards the stored stuff at Mrs. Dorling's house? Why did she feel so? 5th, what type of a girl was the author? How did you form this opinion? Hint also has been given for this question. Describe the author's meeting with Mrs. Dorling's daughter. 7th, what type of traumas do wars cause? 8th, what was the girl thinking when she was traveling home by train? 9th, why did she resolve to forget the address? 10th, I resolved to forget the address of all the things I had forget. So they would be easiest. Comment. Which address had the narrator remembered for years? Why? Why did the narrator desire to see the stored stuff after so long? 13th, why do you gather about the character of Mrs. Dorling in the story? What do you gather about the character of Mrs. Dorling in the story? 14th, describe the incident of Mrs. Dorling's daughter opening the box of cutlery. Sorry beta. Now question number 15. Why did the author not wait to meet Mrs. Darling? 16th. The address was correct, but I didn't want to remember it anymore. Why did the narrator say so? 17th. What important lessons of life do we learn from the story The Address? Now, long answer type questions in 120 words. So, do you think the title of the story The Address is appropriate? So, you have to justify the title, The Address. Second one, comment on the statement The Address is a story of post-war human predicament. Third one, after reading the story, what opinion do you form about the narrator's character? Fourth one, it is not easy to let off past memories and possessions. Do you agree? Why not? Fifth one, past, whether good or bad, is gone. We must never worry about it. All we need to make the best of our present. Explain with reference to the story The Address. So all these questions are very important and you must practice in your notebook. So thank you for watching.